Okay, welcome back, boys and girls. We are on book 34, Looking for Bigfoot. I have a copy of the book today. Remember this one? Looking for Bigfoot. Okay, so it's time to head up. So, today's lesson is book 34, the title, Looking for Bigfoot. Put today's date, whatever date it is for you that you're doing this activity, this lesson. And then our title is Word Work, Vowel Sounds with the O-I, O-Y combinations. And they both make the sound oi and oi. Okay, so you can press me on pause and then get this heading written down. And now we can continue. All right, so I have two words here. This first word is B-O-I-L. This O-I makes the oi, like oi sound. So it's oil, boil, like I boil water for my tea. The second word over here has an O-Y, but it also makes an oi sound, oi. So this word is soy. So I like to put soy sauce on my rice. So we have two words, boil and soy. And these two combinations, O-I and O-Y, make the oi sound. So now we're going to write some oil words. So get these two heading words written down, then we're going to begin. Remember, anytime if you need to write something, just press me on pause and then you can continue. Okay, so underneath the word boil, I want you to write the word spoil. So at the beginning it has a sp. What letters make sp? So we will have S-P, spoil. What do you think comes next? O-I-L. Okay? The next word is coin. Like money, coin. First that's going to be C. Try to write before I do if you can. O-I-N. Coin. The last word is point. Like the point of my marker. Point. So P. Oi, N-T, point. So we have boil, spoil, coin, and point. Now we're going to go over to the oi side. Underneath the word oi, I want you to write the word toy. T-O-Y. Underneath toy, I want you to write the word joy. Like happiness, joy. J-O-Y. And last but not least, I want you to write the word boy. Opposite girl is a boy. B-O-Y. Okay? Very straightforward. So as we continue on different books, there are going to be lots of patterns that you're going to learn, but these will all help you become better spellers and most importantly, better readers. Okay, so next, you can grab your book, Looking for Bigfoot, and then we're going to begin. Okay, so I'm sure that your teachers have been teaching you about different genres, but basically in literature, a genre is a category or a type of book. So you can have mystery genres, you can have poetry genres. This book is a fantasy genre. So in fantasy genres, you often have magic and you can often have mythical characters. So this book has a mythical character called Bigfoot. And a myth is something, it's kind of like a story that's passed down that is not believable, but some people do believe in it. So it's normally not true, but some people do believe in it. So in China and in many countries, they have a different name for this mythical huge creature called Bigfoot. I think in some countries they call him the abominable snowman. Other countries they might call him the Yeti. Some places call him Bigfoot. Okay, so Bigfoot is a myth. But for whatever reason, people all around the world swear up and down that they've seen Bigfoot. Do you think that Bigfoot really exists? It's okay if you do, because there are people who spend their whole lives looking for Bigfoot. All right, so as we're reading, I want you to think about how the illustrations that the author and illustrator use, how do they add humor to the story? Okay, so if you look at them really carefully, they're quite humorous. They kind of make you smile a bit. So I want you to think about how they add humor, and I want you to be able to give me some examples of which illustrations provide this humor. I'm going to read some of this book with you. You're going to press me on pause. You're going to read the rest on your own. And I'm going to give you a comprehension writing activity to complete. Okay, so I want you to turn to page 2 and 3. It should look like this. And then we're going to begin. Okay. All right, so Professor Piffle was reading the newspaper. He looked up at his sister, Miss Irma Piffle. "The paper says that someone from town saw Bigfoot in the woods," he said. "Oh my," Miss Piffle said. "I would love to see him too." The professor shook his head. That's one of our words from last time, shook. "Don't be silly, my dear," he told her. "There is no such thing as Bigfoot." Professor Piffle did not like it when people believed in silly things. Oh, I forgot to tell you, boys and girls, at the bottom of your YouTube screen, there should be buttons that say CC. If you click on those, it's closed caption. So basically, whatever words I speak, the words will come up on the screen. That's just another way to help improve your reading. Okay, so I'll go back to the top of page 4 since I distracted you. Professor Piffle did not like it when people believed in silly things. He wanted everyone to know that there was no Bigfoot in the woods. He got his camera and a notebook. He packed his map and a flashlight. Miss Piffle made a big lunch for him. "Be careful," she said. "It's perfectly safe in our woods," he told her. "There is no Bigfoot. You'll see." So remember, as we're looking at the illustrations, so these are the illustrations, the drawings, I want you to think about some that you think that the illustrator purposely tried to make humorous. And why? So I'll read these 2 pages and then stop here. Professor Piffle climbed a tall hill behind his house. He could see a long way from there. He did not see Bigfoot. "Just as I thought," he said. Anything humorous in this picture? Anything kind of funny? Okay. So at this point, you can put me on pause and read the rest of Looking for Bigfoot, and then we're going to do a writing activity. Okay, so you should have had plenty of time to finish reading, and now we're going to go on to the writing portion. So I told you that the genre of this story is fantasy because it talks about a mythical creature, okay, and that is a characteristic of a fantasy genre. And I asked you to look at the illustrations because they actually add humor, okay, so he tries to make it amusing for us. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to think about how the illustrator is making them funny. All right, so this is your writing assignment. Okay, so writing. How do the illustrations add humor to the fantasy? Give 2 examples. So I want you to look back at all those illustrations and find some that you think add humor. So for example, I'll give you an example. Let me just grab my book. Where's my book? Okay, here's my book. All right, so I said on page 6, so let's turn to page 6. Okay, so this is page 6. So I said, this is my example. On page 6, the illustrator shows Bigfoot trying to grab Professor Piffle, and he isn't even aware. All right, so I thought that this was kind of funny, kind of humorous, because as you can see, Bigfoot's right there, birds on his head, and he's trying to grab at Professor Piffle, and Professor Piffle's just looking off in the distance. He doesn't even feel his presence in back of him. So I thought that was kind of humorous. Okay? So I want you to go through and look through and find 2 examples of how the illustrator tries to add humor to this fantasy. Okay? So that is our lesson for today. Thank you for sticking it out with me. Remember to write everything down in your writing books because at the end of the week I'll be collecting them to see what you've been doing all week. Okay? So till next time. Bye.